students, Professor Caraway here. We're wrapping up the first week, and I just wanted to point out a couple of things that I know usually come up about this time in the class. So one thing, when you are working in the assignments, I've marked, there are several sim books that are marked with not graded, so they truly aren't graded. But you still want to complete those because they continue, or they cover content that will be covered or used within the corresponding quiz. So even though there's not a grade component in these that are marked as not graded, you want to be sure to go ahead and work through those. They're essentially just online textbooks. Okay, on the or in the case of the sim books, I know there's a little bit of confusion usually about this time about, well, what do I have to do to complete the sim book? Because when you look through the entire sim book, so I've gone into, this is the intro chapter for Windows 10, and if I scroll down, you know, there's a lot of content. There's even these short answer questions kind of towards the end of the chapter, and then also if I move down, then there's also these guided projects. These are not things that you have to complete. Now, they're just there. They're part of the essentially the textbook, but they aren't things that you actually have to complete. If you want to know what is to be graded, so let's see, let me go back out to, well, sorry, I should have gone one step further or one step shorter. And okay, this can put me where I want to be. So when I'm looking through again a given sim book, I can see that some of these tasks have a numerical value. Well, these numerical points, if you will, are tied to the corresponding show me, guide me, let me try activities. So by that I mean, if I click and go into that chapter or that module, and I scroll down, you know, reading through this content, I eventually come to the standard or the kind of or easily visible show me, guide me, let me tries. And so if you recall from our earlier tutorial, or if you work through these, there's a little video that explains how to complete the task. After I've watched all of this, then we'll get a check mark for this. And just want to show you what happened. So once I've watched the video, you note that I get a check mark here. And if I click close and move back out, there's also now a checkbox next to, or check for the show me task. And similarly, if I go to the guide me, I'll get a checkbox, or a check mark rather, and then a check mark for the let me try. On the let me try, that's the one that's being graded. So if I watch the video, or rather have watched the video and now I follow the instructions, pin the PowerPoint app to the start bar. And let's see, to remember how to do this. So I right click, pin to the start bar, close. So I've gotten the check mark for the let me try. And now if I go back out to the chapter table of contents, I guess, or the module table of contents, you notice I now have 1 point of 5. And that's because there are actually 5 sets of the show me, guide me, let me try buttons in this section of the chapter, or of this sim book. So let me just show that to you. So if I scroll down, here's the one that I completed, and I can confirm that with the check mark. And there's number 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So there are 5 sets of the show me, guide me, let me try activities in this section of this sim book. It's a mouthful. So to get full credit, I need to go through and complete all of the let me try tasks for the 5 that are in this one, and similarly through all of the remaining sections of the chapter. Okay, so once I complete those, get all of the points, then I'll see a check mark come up next to the completed. And if I can do that for all of those that have a numeric value, then I will get the full credit of 10 points for this sim book. And then another question is, well, how do I know what I have completed and gotten a grade for? So also up here, you'll see the grades menu item. And so it's going to give me a running score of all of the points. We're working on a 1,000 point total score for the semester. So when you put all the assignments together, they're going to equal 1,000 points. And as you see, I've got 0.38. That's all I've earned because I only completed the one let me try activity in this sim book. But now as I continue to complete some of the other assignments, I'm going to see numbers starting to appear here, and that'll actually give me my overall total grade points, I guess. And again, we're working towards 1,000 points. So hopefully that's given you some better understanding of what to look for, I guess, and also how the grade book works. And then I also want to note, now that we're coming up on the end of the first week, some of our assignments are due. This was the calendar view, and it shows me that I have 7 sim books, 3 projects, and a quiz or exam. And if you're like, well, what is that? I can either click on this and go straight to the list of assignments, which is probably not quite as effective as if I went to the assignments tile view. And again, that's everything that's been available and due for this week. And so everything is due June 8th, which would be on Monday. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. We've only got about 4.5 weeks to go. And so it's important that we get everybody on track. And if you're running into any issues, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on Slack and we'll get you on track. Hope this helps. I'll talk to you soon.